Let me tell you a little bit about the beginning of Mystic Shores and why we all share a rich heritage through the 7-Eleven Ranch. In 1999, a real estate developer, Blue Green Southwest, purchased the 7,200 acres of the 7-Eleven Ranch from the Norden Trust and other Norden interests. I'll tell you about the Nordens in just a minute. The next year, in 2000, Blue Green formed the subdivision of Mystic Shores. And as it got platted, it became the largest subdivision in the county. Think back to how you found your property in Mystic Shores. I'd love to see some comments on how you came to find your property. As for me and my husband, Jim, we were very lucky to come out to this area in early 2001. It was spring. Jim wanted to come see a property he had seen advertised in a Farm and Ranch magazine. And lo and behold, we came out, FM 306, we turned onto an old ranch road. We traveled it for 4 miles down this Caliche Road to the one existing home in the Mystic Shores lands at the time, which was the 7-Eleven Ranch home and headquarters of L.A. and Pearl Norden. And I thought we were so far out this dirt road. My mother said she wouldn't give us a plug nickel that we would ever have a paved road to our house. But Jim was really clear that this is a place that we can make our home, and so we did. So I'd love to hear your stories about how you found your property. Believe me, in the early days, there was very little to do here because there were very few homes. And so we did what we called make our own fun. And Jim wanted to invite some of the folks from the Norden Trust over for supper. And we did that. And we were so pleased that Anita Norden Lindsay, who was one of the 2 daughters of L.A. and Pearl, accepted the invitation, came with her grandson and a number of Norden Trust employees. So Anita comes in, she sits down, she's in her early 80s. Jim asked her if she'd like a Coke, and she said yes. He brings her Coke. She promptly lifts up her little purse, puts it in her lap, pulls out a flask of wild turkey, which she proceeded to pour in that Coke, and began telling us stories. And that was really the beginning of our interest and understanding of what it was to be a part of the 7-Eleven Ranch. And I will tell you that night with Anita ignited 20 years of history and studying into these lands, and not only what happened during the years of the 7-Eleven Ranch, but all that came before it. L.A. and Pearl Norden were amazing people. They grew up in rural Alabama, had an 8th grade education. L.A. was born in 1896, so he was prime military age during World War I. And he did go and fight in France in World War I. And when he came home, he married his sweetheart Pearl, and they promptly moved to Texas because L.A. had learned of the opportunity in the Texas oil and gas business. So I'll tell you more about how the Nordens got their success and came to own the ranch. But today, I mainly wanted to share with you how Mystic Shores was formed and the importance of the 7-Eleven Ranch.